Okay, well, my name is Jean-Paul Pinelli. I'm a civil engineer and actually a structural engineer, and I'm also a professor here at Florida Institute of Technology. And well, it all started many years ago uh, when I had to decide which career to choose. And the question is, well, maybe why civil engineering? And well, I'm not sure. uh, I was attracted to civil engineering because it's very wide in scope and it's very application oriented. So if you like to build things or to do things, like with your hands or solve problems and so on, civil engineering is probably a good choice for you. Um, Many people confuse civil engineering with um, architecture, and well, while architects are concerned with the functionality of buildings and the aesthetics of the buildings, how nice they look and so on, we civil engineers, we are concerned with how to make the building stand. Okay, and not only buildings. I mean, civil engineers is a very varied discipline, and it covers my field, which is structural engineering, which is the design of buildings and bridges and all kind of structures. But you can be also involved in transportation, which has to do with traffic, highways, railways, all these kind of things, port, harbors. You could be involved in hydraulics, all the stuff that has to do with water management, waste management. Every time you flush a toilet, you should thank a civil engineer, okay? What else? You can be involved with geotechnical engineering, which is the engineering of soils, since every civil engineering structure is going to be ultimately resting on foundations. So geotechnical engineering is the study and the design of soils and foundations. You can be also involved in environmental engineering, which is becoming a hot topic these days. So, water pollution, air pollution, all these kind of things. There is really a lot to choose from, okay, beyond maybe the traditional definition of a civil engineering as a builder. And of course, talking about building, you have construction engineering, which is part of civil engineering. Construction engineering, construction management, if you want to be out in the field and supervising people and so on, and organizing the construction of any kind of structure. Okay. Well, if you want to be a civil engineer, what do you have to do? Well, you need to get into an engineering school. Most engineering schools offer a civil engineering degree. So the first step is to get a bachelor degree. That's a 4-year degree, and when you study for a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, you don't specialize yet in any area of civil engineering. You just study, you're going to take courses in structures, courses in transportation, courses in hydraulics, in environmental engineering, etc., plus, the basic core courses like math, physics, and so on. And so that's the first step, to get your bachelor in 4 years. After you get your bachelor, you will have to take what's called the Fundamental of Engineering exam, and which is the first step into getting certified as a professional engineer. So you get your bachelor, then you pass your FE exam, and then you can go into practice, and after 4 years into practice under the supervision of a professional engineer, then you can take the professional engineering exam, or PE exam, which is a 2-day 8-hour exam, which is going to focus specifically on your area of civil engineering. And once, if you pass the P exam, then you become a professional engineer, which means that you are legally authorized to stamp drawings. So in other words, you can be responsible for engineering works. Okay. Now, in addition to that, in addition to the basic Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, then you can consider doing into graduate school and doing a Master of Science in Civil Engineering. And the Master of Science is usually between 1 and 2 years, with or without a thesis option. And it's there at the master level that you actually really specialize in a specific aspect of civil engineering. So you can do a master in structural engineering, a master in transportation engineering, a master in hydraulic engineering, in geotechnical engineering, and so on and so forth. And also I believe that if you do a master, then that will count as 1 year of practice towards your PE exam. So that's the basic road that you have to follow to become a civil engineer. If you're interested in research, in academia, in becoming a professor, a teacher, then you should go further and do a PhD, which usually is going to take you something around 3 years beyond the master degree, and which is going to be basically working on research and writing a dissertation. So after you get your PhD, your doctoral degree, then you can become a professor at basically any university. So that's in a nutshell what is civil engineering and how to become a civil engineer. In terms of job opportunities, I think there is a lot of job opportunities. People are always going to need, building roads, infrastructure. Actually, the infrastructure in our country is aging and in needs of repair. So there should be plenty of jobs around there in the future. So it's a very promising area of engineering, and it's actually one of the fastest growing enrollments currently at US universities. I'm not sure. I had many interesting experiences. So I've been involved in the design of large structures. For example, after I got my master degree, I went to work for 4 years into a big engineering firm that was in Argentina, and I got involved in the design of a steel mill plant. It was a huge plant, so that was quite interesting. I learned a lot about steel structures. Other stuff I was involved with was airport design. That was interesting also. An airport design at the end of the world in Ushuaia, the southernmost city in the world. Here I've been doing a lot of research related to hurricane and the resistance of structures to hurricanes. So in the summer sometimes we go out there and deploy instrumentation in the path of hurricanes, and things like that. So that's quite exciting too. A good thing to start with will be to try to talk to friends or family or people that you will know that are civil engineers, and to get a better idea of what they do, or if it's really what you'd like to do, and maybe also read some books. Go to a library and get some books on civil engineers, and think about what's exciting you. Are you when you travel or when you are in the street and so on, do you look at structures? When you cross a bridge, are you curious about how is it built and these kind of things? If the answer is yes, then probably you would be interested in civil engineering. Well, actually, when I did my PhD, my intention was not necessarily to go into teaching. I was really interested into research. I just wanted to get the highest degree and because it was the most interesting thing. And actually, after I graduated, I went into consulting for a year, and after that only I came back into teaching. So when you do a PhD, it's not necessarily to do teaching. I mean, it's primarily to do both research and teaching, and then life will guide you to one or the other or both. As I say, it depends on what you like, but if you are a hands-on person, if you're a problem solver, for example, in my case, I knew I didn't want to be a lawyer. I knew my father was a banker. I knew I didn't want to be a banker. I didn't want to be a physician either. Operate on people, this kind of thing. That was not, the blood. That was not for me. Okay. So on the other hand, I always like building things, with Legos or Mechanos or other type of games. I think it's cool the fact that uh, everything in a sense depends on civil engineering, right? Because you could almost, you could do it, people have been doing, electricity, this kind of thing. It's, flying, it's great, but it's fairly modern, right? But roads, buildings, theaters, bridges, they've always been around, right? And there couldn't be any society or civilization without them. So you're really at the forefront of civilization if you're a civil engineer. That's a bridge that we use in class to illustrate some of the principle of structural analysis, so that we have students build that and then test it and basically illustrate how the different members work together. So that's another aspect which is interesting in civil engineering, that what they say that whatever you do, it's there in the open, and you can touch it. Okay, so it's not you are not working with electrons or cells or things that you have to look under a microscope, right? You are really building things that you're going to be living in, and that you can enjoy physically, if that makes sense.